Welcome back to another episode of the Me in the Making podcast. I am your host, Melly Clay, and this is a show about self discovery, introspection, learning more about yourself in order to improve, in order to get through the day. Sometimes, sometimes we need to know ourselves better in order to even get through the day, especially nowadays. So, I am here to encourage you all to do that for yourselves as I continue to do that for myself. And this is season 3 of the Me in the Making podcast. And seasons 1 and 2 are audio only. And you can listen to those wherever you get your podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you like to listen to podcasts. Seasons 1 and 2 are available. And on those episodes, I am speaking with guests. So I have people on the show, friends, dear friends who were so kind to speak to me and open up about who they've been, who they are, like the journey going from where they were to who they are now, and how they've become who they are, and the journey, the steps that they're making towards continuing to become who they will be, because we're always becoming. And so those seasons are available. Please go back and listen to them if you have not had the opportunity, or give them a re-listen because there are some really good nuggets in there that I think are going to be very valuable to go back and listen to. So I would encourage you to do that. And also, season 3 is now audio and visual. So you can watch the videos on YouTube at Making Me Pod, and the link is in the show notes. If you're listening to this, but you would also want to see me, hi, go to YouTube and you can watch the episodes. So in season 3, I'm going to be doing solo episodes, which is what I'm doing today. And yeah, we just talk about a lot of things that I've been journeying throughout, especially in the year 2024. That's when I wasn't really recording the podcast, but I was out there living, out there getting some things done, some things that I needed to get accomplished in 2024. And I needed that space to do that. And so I wasn't able to actually record and sit down and bring you all episodes. But now I will be talking about some of my life that I've been living basically, and the things that I've been learning throughout 2024, really mainly. And then we start to get into 2025, of course. But 2024, I feel like was a bit of a the one word that comes to mind is doozy, but that makes it seem like it's more negative than it was. There were a lot of things to get completed in 2024 for me. I wonder if that has been for anyone else who's listening, or maybe 2025 is the year where things are kind of going a bit hectic for you all. So hopefully we can get through it together. And yeah, thanks for coming to this episode. Thanks for clicking on that link. And if you would, please subscribe or follow wherever you're listening or watching. Give the podcast a 5-star rating, leave a review. That's, will help other people be able to find this show, because I would like to grow the show. And I'm looking to you to help me do that. If this is something that you enjoy, please tell family members, tell your friends, share a link. I would really and truly appreciate that. So today, I don't know if you could tell, but we're talking about family reunions. This is a family reunion shirt. See? It looks great. See, now you have to watch on YouTube, because how else are you going to see this amazing family reunion shirt? So, if you are a family member of mine, of course, you've already seen this family reunion shirt. If you are a friend, oh, I even have a tattoo of it. Hey. Can you tell that I really enjoy family reunions? So, yes, it is the summertime and it's family reunion season. And last year I had the opportunity, the pleasure, the honor of helping to plan our family reunion because nowadays that honor is being bestowed upon the next generation. So, millennials, it is our time. Gen X and millennials is our time to step up and help actually plan our family reunions. It's odd to think about. Like when my mom was talking about it. So, okay, let me rewind a little bit. So, with my family reunions, we typically have them every 2 years, and we would go to different places around the country because my extended family is pretty spread out, and we would go to different places around the country where they're like hubs of my family, and we would go to places in Connecticut, in Maryland, in Tennessee. We would go to Arizona. But we had never had a family reunion in my hometown in Detroit. And so the person who has been having a hand in a lot of plannings of these family reunions was asking my mom, "How about Detroit? Why not host in Detroit?" And it's something that my mom was like, "Okay, let's do it. Let's see what we can do." And I volunteered to help, and it was an amazing learning experience. I will say, like, the things that go into a family reunion, if you're planning it over multiple days, I mean, even if you're planning it for one day, even if you're having a picnic, sometimes there can be a lot of moving parts when it comes to coordinating everybody, getting together, if you're going to do shirts, if you're going to split the cost, if you're going to have food catered, just a lot of different things that you have to think about. And also, this is your family, so you want it to be you know, inviting, and you want people to feel like they can come and be vulnerable and talk to people who maybe they haven't seen either all year or in a couple years. Maybe it's been multiple years that, they haven't seen each other. So sometimes family can be strangers. So you're kind of thinking about all those things like, how do I make sure that I'm cultivating a space where people feel comfortable enough to talk to their family members? So yes, we decided to host it in Detroit, and we actually hadn't had a family reunion in 8 years. So the last time we met together was back in 2016 in Maryland, and yeah, the next time after that was 2024. I'm not sure if we were supposed to have one in 2018, but that year came and went, and then boom, the pandemic. And of course, we were not going to be having people gather during the pandemic. With family, there are older people that we have in our families, and it just wasn't worth the risk. So 2024, it seemed like the perfect year for everyone to come back and come together to see each other as a family again. So basically, the I guess I'll call him the patriarch of the family. Um, and he, was helping my mom and I to plan the family reunion because he's planned multiple family reunions, and he knows the ins and outs of things. And my mom and I were basically going to be the ones to coordinate, book venues, etc., the hotel, and basically put together all the information so that he could disseminate it out to the rest of the family. And I think initially I was not expecting so much to go into the planning of a family reunion because I think, like when I was younger, going to these, I'm not thinking about, oh, you have a welcome dinner on Friday evening. And our wow, it's hard to say. Our family reunions go for a weekend. So because our family is pretty spread out, we want to make it worth people's while to come together, and so we'll have it for either 2 or 3 days. So usually the way it goes for our family is that we have a Friday night welcome dinner either at someone's house, basically at someone's house, just to kind of have that hospitable feeling of getting people in. Let's sit around the dinner table, let's talk, let's visit in a safe space and not really in a restaurant. just to kind of welcome everyone in. People are maybe flying in, driving in, they're kind of tired and don't really want to have to put on airs basically, but just come together in a comfortable place. So but when I was younger, I wasn't thinking there is a lot that's going into this. Like, you don't really know the planning of everything. And I think because of that, as a millennial, our baby boomer parents were taking care of these things year after year after year. It's something like, oh, they got it. Like, oh, they're gonna take care of it. But, I'm in my 40s, so it's like, oh, so when they were planning these things back when I was younger, they were like in their 40s and 50s. So now it makes sense that I would be someone to help because, I had the availability and I had just availability basically to help out. And so we planned a Friday evening welcome. So we decided to actually get a space on Peer Space, which is really nice. And this nothing is sponsored, of course, but I'll just let you all know some resources that I used because if you yourself are thinking about maybe, you went to this year's family reunion and maybe you're in your 30s or your 40s or your 50s and you're like, okay, well, my parents or my grandparents have been putting these things together for decades. Like maybe I want to step up to the plate. So I want to use this opportunity to say, while it is a good amount of work, it's rewarding and you have other people helping you. And if you don't have other people helping you, then don't plan the family reunion. That's what I would say. Like, if you are doing it on your own and it's stressful and a lot of work and money, I would say try to get someone to help you or maybe just don't do it that year because I don't want people to feel resentful. Like maybe, everyone, it all comes together and you're all happy. Well, they are all happy, but you're exhausted or you're stewing, and then you feel resentment toward the people who did not decide to help you out. Like maybe say, okay, well, let's take this year off and try to get people together to help for the year after that. That's just a little disclaimer because yeah, you don't want this is your family. Family can be difficult enough sometimes just because that's the nature of families. But let's not make it harder than it needs to be? So anyway, so I would say, yeah, if you're thinking about jumping in and either taking the torch from your parent or grandparent, aunts and uncles who've been planning it, do so, I would say. Definitely, I encourage you to do so, especially now when you have them to ask questions, etc. And, who knows? 20, 30 years down the line, when you're taking it over for real and you have your nieces, nephews, your kids, grandkids who want to start doing it, now you can pass the torch and you will feel good about, I was able to like help continue to foster this family, getting together, talking to each other, etc. So, what we like to do is have that welcome dinner on Friday evening. And then Saturday, we made sure to find a place where breakfast was included. So there was a hot breakfast, so people didn't have to worry about how am I going to get breakfast? Where am I going to get breakfast? Do I do Uber Eats or whatever? But you could just all go down. Maybe you all happen to sit around the same tables and you just talk about the night before and how it's good to see everyone, etc. You just kind of continue that togetherness, fostering like we're all sitting together, communing, eating, kind of because who doesn't love to eat? And who doesn't love to come together and talk and chit chat? And then after you have a full stomach, you feel even better and even more connected. So we had breakfast together at the hotel, and then we like to do a cultural thing in the city. Because typically when we're going to a city where that family member or those family members live, maybe we haven't been there before or like we don't know, maybe we've been there before but we don't know the cultural landscape and history of that city, so we like to do maybe like a bus tour one year, when we were in DC, we saw the Martin Luther King statue. We went to, I can't remember the diner. It was like a historical diner. Of course, I can't remember the diner. Of course. But so yeah, we had like a bus tour and they took us around and like showing us different landmarks and things about the city that you might not typically want to do if you're just going there on vacation with friends and you're just kind of like in and out. Maybe you're on a business trip or something and you go to a town, but you don't have time to learn about the town, you know? So that's something that we like to do. So in Detroit, we planned for our family to go to Hitsville. You know, Detroit is Motown. And so we took the family there, and it was my first time going to Hitsville. And my mom and I were like, well, this is the perfect opportunity. Let's go to Hitsville. You know, a lot of the people in my family are baby boomers or like grew up listening to Motown artists, and so it's really nice to go in. You get a tour, and they talk about Berry Gordy and the start of it all, and you get to see the office. I think it's like the original office and how it was set up. You get to go in and just like watch the videos that they put together of all these Motown artists and like the Motown way, like how they recorded and just the whole machine basically. It was really a lot of fun. So if you live in Detroit, if you've never been to Detroit and you're planning a trip, I definitely recommend going to Motown Hitsville, the Motown Museum. I think that's the official name, or Hitsville. So we did that, and then we also went to the Charles Wright African American History Museum. And oh my goodness, we could have spent the entire day there, but we did not have the time. But it was an amazing, you just learn so much about African American history, and it's very eye-opening and bonding, I would say. Bonding with the people you go through the exhibits with, etc. It's amazing. So we did that, and then we had Detroit style pizza at this restaurant downtown, and then typically Saturday evenings we would have a dinner. And basically, maybe it's you have a dinner at a banquet hall, like in a venue, or you go to a restaurant. And what we did was we went to a restaurant, and usually what we do is, a representative of each individual families will stand and kind of give a status update on what their family has been going through, good things, bad things, what they would like to be prayed for, etc. And so we did it this time, and it was really, really awesome to hear what people have been doing because it had been 8 years since our last family reunion. And so we did that, and because now a lot of the family is older, like 20 years ago, I'm I'm like a kid, basically, like just graduating high school. I'm not gonna stand up and talk in front of like all these family members, but a good number of us stood up, talked about what we're going through. It wasn't only one person from like each individual family standing up. It was multiple people and just sharing about what we've been going through and the support that we've been having from other people in our families, and just, it was a really touching experience, and it was great. It was great. And then the next morning, sometimes we'll have breakfast together, or sometimes people just need to get on the road. Either they're driving or have to fly back, we have to work the next day. And it was just a really good time. I can't say enough how much good that it was to all get together. So definitely encourage you to, if your family has never had a family reunion, if it's been a while since you've had a family reunion, I recommend getting your family back together, getting them together for the first time, and just trying it. Maybe just for one day, a picnic or something if your family is relatively close. Like the distance is not that far. Like you can maybe just meet up for one day and just kind of see what the vibes are. And if you've had family reunions in the past, revive it. I was talking to some people on the Spill app actually, and they were talking about their family reunions that they've had in the past, and kind of comparing it to the other times when you get together are for funerals. So let's not have the only time you get to see your extended family be at a funeral. So I'd highly recommend planning that family reunion. Maybe you're coming off a high of a family reunion. July is typically the month where, you know, families usually get together and you're thinking about, can I do this for next year? Or can I do this in a couple years? And the answer is yes. So ask other family members, get that support. If you know someone who's planned it before, ask them, what did you do? How did you just broach the weekend or whatever? Like maybe you ease into it, maybe you just do one day, one evening for dinner or something, and you get people together. And this design is by my niece, and she is an incredible artist. And I was like, hey, would you like to design our family reunion t-shirts? And she agreed. So these three different greens are like the different official colors of Detroit, and then purple for the tree. What is this called? Wow. A stump is the only word that's coming to mind, but the tree is alive and well, so it's not a stump. But the trunk, wow. The tree trunk is purple because who doesn't love purple? And I felt like it went well with the green. And yeah, it's just the Ambassador Bridge to represent Detroit, going from the US to Canada. It was an amazing time. But now, and let me know in the comments if you've ever planned a family reunion, the last time you went to a family reunion, like what are your thoughts? Let me know. And now I want to move into Pod Corner. So I've said this in previous videos. I love listening to podcasts. I am one with the podcast, and I like to recommend podcasts to you all because I listen to so many. I have to share the wealth. I have to share the fun. And this podcast that I want to recommend is called Scam Goddess. So Lacey Mosley, the host, talks about different scams, famous scams. Maybe they're smaller scams that you haven't heard of, but they're very juicy and interesting. And she has guests on the show, and they talk about the different scams that they come across or that their producer has found and they've researched and everything. And it's a good time, but it's not really a true crime podcast. It's more of a comedy podcast with some true crime like thrown in there. So it's a more lighthearted type of feel, but it's also very educational because you get to learn about what are the current scams that are going on nowadays to protect yourself. So yeah, I'm just looking at this amazing shirt. I love this shirt. Obviously, I do. I got my niece's design tattooed. I just love it. But yes, please get together with your family as often as possible, um, and just have a great time. So this has been another episode of the Me in the Making podcast, and I'll see you all next week. Bye. This has been another episode of the Me in the Making podcast. Please rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcast, on Spotify. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Tell a friend, tell a family member. We all deserve to grow and change and become our best selves, whatever that might look like to you. And please connect on Instagram at Making Me Pod, on TikTok. You can email me at meli@makingmepod.com. I would love to hear from you. Let me know if you want to be a guest on the show. And yeah, I'm just having such a great time. I'm so happy to have been able to launch this video episode for you all, and come again. Bye.